All right, folks, I'm going to do a couple of videos, more than likely three, that are going to be quasi, and maybe not even quasi tied together. How many of you know that the Emancipation Proclamation basically declared that slaves were forevermore free in the United States? Probably quite a few of you, because it's taught in most, if not all, schools. How many of you also know that that was a presidential executive order, so that any president coming after Lincoln could, with the stroke of a pen, abolish that executive order? In order for an executive order to have the full force of law going forward, it needs to be ratified in legislation. Now, this particular executive order was ratified in legislation. It was ratified by the 13th Amendment. All that meant was that slaves had been declared free. And I'm going to push on for a minute and then come back to this. It, however, took the 14th Amendment. Sorry, folks, I got a phone call. Anyway, it took the 14th Amendment in order to declare the freed black people and pretty much everybody else that was born in the United States. And let's remember that a little known fact is that citizenship was not granted to everyone that was born in the United States, okay? And citizenship was bestowed on people based on, obviously, one, being born here, but two, having specific connections, because citizenship and the due rights under the Constitution basically were granted to white people, not all white people, but white males who were primarily, but not always, property owners. So it took the 14th Amendment to grant the full rights of citizenship to everybody born in the United States. Okay, let's swing back to the 13th Amendment. I don't know if you were aware of this, but there is still slavery in America. There is still the taking of your citizenship in America. Why do I say that? Well, what does the 13th Amendment actually say? The 13th Amendment to the Constitution declared that neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except as a punishment for crime whereof the party shall have been duly convicted, shall exist within the United States or any place subject to their jurisdiction. Formally abolishing slavery in the United States, the 13th Amendment was passed by Congress on January 31st, 1865, and ratified by the states on December 6th, 1865. So what does that mean? Well, you may not know the number, but you do know the fact that there are people who are incarcerated. The last basic count of the number of people that are incarcerated is somewhere between 2 and 3 million people in the United States. Now, based on the 13th Amendment, all of those people that are incarcerated are at least temporarily considered slaves. Okay, let me read the section from the 13th Amendment again. Neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except as a punishment for crime whereof the party shall have been duly convicted, shall exist within the United States or any place subject to their jurisdiction. So if you have been convicted of a crime, you effectively can be made a slave. Now, black people make up a large number of the people that are incarcerated. And in my opinion, black people and other minorities are targeted more so than the Caucasian people in this country for arrest and conviction of crime. And their sentences for crimes has been documented as being longer than those of white people. But the caveat is, once you have been convicted of a felony, served your time, paid your punishment, and are released from incarceration, you should theoretically be converted back to a full citizen. But because of various state laws, that is not the case. Various states will not return to you your right to vote, which is the right of every citizen. The federal government, in a lot of cases, will not grant to you the right of citizenship in terms of being able to apply for federal benefits, i.e. federal housing, federal loans, federal grants for education, and I believe in some cases you may not be eligible for things like Social Security. So, just so that you understand exactly where this country is, there is still legalized slavery being perpetuated in the United States of America. All you need to do is take a look at the 13th Amendment to see it for yourself.